Endorse, once again, and the other members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, the CPC, you know me, disappoint. Progressives in Congress back Harris as small donations mount because, after all, the Democrats got a good cash haul from voters, into supporting Kamala because everyone seems to have forgotten how much of a piss poor candidate she is. But the progressives, whatever remains of their credibility, if they had any, at this point now, they're no better than a degenerate kick streamer. The progressive in Congress decided to back Kamala to cop Harris. So, first of all, let's go ahead and bring up our friends, Ayanna Presley. I know, folks. Brace yourself for this madness.
First and foremost, I just want to take a moment to thank President Biden. Joe Biden has dedicated more than 50 years of service to our nation as a senator, a vice president, and as the 46th president of the United States. And the Biden-Harris White House, I've worked very closely with them. They've been engaged partners who've made real progress for our communities. And I'm deeply grateful for the president's service. I know this is not a decision that he arrives at lightly. I think it's important to hold space for that. And I respect his decision to pass the torch. And I vigorously endorse Kamala Harris. She is a moral and empathetic leader. She is poised, she is prepared, and she is qualified. I'm the chair of the Abortion Rights and Access.
Hold on. How is she qualified? She was the least popular candidate in the race. She dropped out before the first primary vote. Her campaign went belly up. Ayanna Presley, were you paying attention in 2020? I mean, I know a lot of you politicians are thick-headed, but my goodness, come on. Be a little bit more reasonable. Y'all can't be this stupid. But, oh, wait, you probably are.
Task force in the House. She has been the most effective voice when it comes to abortion justice. We've worked closely on healthcare justice, student debt cancellation, the racial wealth gap. I am confident that Kamala Harris can unite this party and build the coalition necessary for us to win in November.
I want to just address something here. To the vote blue no matter who crowd. Look, guys, I know some of you might be excited about the convention that's going to be taking place, but don't be, okay? Voter turnout for the Democratic primary was abysmal. Now you're asking for people to be excited. You have August, September, October to get your coalition to be put together. This is last minute changes. Now, anything can happen in 3 months, but this is beyond pathetic. If you really want to launch an effective campaign, you need a year in advance to really lay down the groundwork for building a strong coalition. How many people are really excited for Kamala Harris? Because as soon as enough people start digging into her background, obviously right off the bat, third parties and independents aren't going to be excited for her. Progressives who might be paying attention aren't going to be excited for her. And you think what, Republican voters are going to go for her? No. Look, you tried this before, Democrats and liberals, in hoping that you would get a moderate Republican to defeat Trump in the 2024 Republican primary. But as I said on the show last year and this year, Trump winning the Republican nomination was a foregone conclusion because Republican voters wanted Trump. Why would any Republican voter now want a Democrat? Especially now that Trump has that huge momentum of that disaster in Butler, Pennsylvania, and so much more working for him. If you compare the Republican primary to this primary, it was more energetic, more engagement. And I'm willing to bet, too, that there's going to be a big difference between the DNC convention and the Republican convention. At least at the Republican convention, the party was unified, the base was excited, and they knew who their nominee was going to be. There's still a big question mark of if Kamala will secure the nominating process, because anything can happen behind those closed doors when the knives come out. It is to be expected. I want to pull up another video here. Shout out again to Case Study QB. He's wrongly being censored, but let's play more of this. Hey, Mad Cow, tell us what's going on. Oops, and the thing decides to think on me while I'm not even here. What's wrong with you? Come on, get it right.
Endorsements for Harris thus far is one that has just come from the Congressional Progressive Caucus PAC. The Congressional Progressive Caucus PAC saying, quote, Kamala Harris will defeat Donald Trump. not only because she offers a stronger economic vision, but because she will defend the fundamental rights and freedoms that MAGA Republicans are attacking across the nation. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal is the co-chair of the Progressive Caucus PAC.
So if you want to know why the Congressional Progressive Caucus PAC is an absolute failure, because Pramila Jayapal is the one leading it. Yeah, that big brain thinker, assuming that Manchin was going to follow through with his promises. What a clown.
And she's standing by with Joy Reid. Joy, over to you.
Thank you very much, Rachel, and welcome, Congresswoman Jayapal. Thank you so much for joining us. So I do want to jump right in on that exact point. Progressive Democrats, the Progressive Caucus, really, I think, surprised a lot of people by standing so firmly with President Biden as so many other groups were pushing him to exit the race. The Progressives stuck with him. And so tell me the level of excitement about this shift and his handover to Vice President Harris.
Well, Joy, it's great to see you as always. Look, I think that the Progressive Caucus has been President Biden's largest block of votes through his whole Build Back Better agenda, that whole first 2 years. And
Build Back Better. Why are you lying? I mean, seriously, Democrats, I mean, does it kill you to tell the truth? I mean, do you age faster if you tell the truth? You think that by lying, you're going to protect yourselves?
everything we got done, we saw President Biden lay out something that was really remarkable, a progressive economic vision that lifts up working people, that taxes the wealthiest, that makes sure that no matter who you are, no matter what your income is, no matter what your race is, no matter where you are in the country, you have opportunity.
Think about all the time every one of us has wasted, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us have the same story, into thinking that the progressives, especially in 2018, were going to change things by reforming the Democratic Party. I know I fell for the con too. I fell for it. I'll be the first one to say I really thought that there was going to be a change. I really thought that there was going to be a momentum to really shake things up, and I was wrong. But think about all the time, money, effort, energy that was wasted on people like Pramila Jayapal, or Ayanna Presley, or Rashida Tlaib, or Ilhan Omar, or AOC, or Jamal Bowman. Need I go on? Think about all the effort that people put in to put these jagoff liars into office, because what? They're saying that Biden had a progressive economic plan and was passing progressive policies. Since when? Because since we've been covering his administration, we haven't gotten any of that. Progressives were always sidelined, dismissed, cast out, removed. Even that nutless wonder Bernie Sanders got nothing. You got nothing, Democrats, and yet you have, again, Pramila Jayapal lying before all of us right now. All of us see that she's spitting crap out of her mouth, and yet they're going to say that Biden passed a strong policy, and yet they're going to endorse Kamala. Consistency is key, and what the Democrats are consistent at is always being disappointments.
And I think that was really a huge effort for all of us to come together and to help get those things done. And so, yes, there was a lot of loyalty to President Biden. I also think that there were concerns. It wasn't like everybody was completely on the same page. But I think, you can't just look at who the nominee needs to be in isolation. You need to look at all of the paths. So I never believed that we should be having that conversation in public. I thought we should be having it in private. But what happened, happened. Now, I think what you have seen is a remarkable coming together. Now that President Biden has made that decision to step away, to endorse Kamala Harris, there was just an incredible level of excitement and support for her, because she is the candidate that was actually voted for, just like President Biden was, by millions of people.
What do you mean? She was the vice president at the time. What are you talking about? Voters voted for her. No. The nominee was Biden. The nominee was Biden. The nominee was Biden, right? Like that's who voters supposedly voted for. Yeah, even again, with pathetic low voter turnout, they still picked Biden. It wasn't Kamala. Okay? She was there by proxy. But that's only because she was the vice president. Pramila Jayapal, do you even know what you're talking about? This is why I say that there's going to be a contested convention. There's no way. There's no way. And everything's being handed to Kamala. No. That's not how things play, folks.
Across the country, delegates voted for the Biden-Harris ticket, and so they know her, and they know that she is a part of President Biden's agenda, as well as the past agenda, as well as the 100-day agenda that he's laid forward, that he spoke about in Detroit. She's obviously going to put her stamp on that, but I think we all feel very comfortable that she is going to be able to build that same fragile coalition that we had in 2020.
She can't build that coalition. By the way, Marianne Williamson did a better job in her primary when she was still in the primary than Kamala did. And that's not saying much. Hell, Marianne Williamson did a better job in this primary than Kamala did. And that's not saying much. But in the thing that Kamala can build a coalition, I've been checking the polling numbers. I've been reading them for the past 3.5 years. Kamala is approval rating is lower than Biden's. And you think that people will rally around her? Well, the only reason why people would probably rally around her is because Trump derangement syndrome. But even that can play for only so long. It's not working like how it used to. It is in 2016, and it sure as hell is in 2020. It is 2024, and you can't come up with something new, Democrats. It's Trump. I'm willing to bet that there are plenty of Democratic operatives that have said, hey, you know what? Maybe it's better that we lose.
With progressives, with swing voters, with women, Black, brown, young people. There is really that energy now. And so I'm just really proud to be all in for her. As I said to her when she called me yesterday, right after the president made his announcement, I'm 1,000% in. We got to win this. And she is the one that is uniquely capable of prosecuting, in every sense of the word, Donald Trump on our rights, on our freedoms, and present.
Yeah, because all of our problems will be solved, folks. That's right. The reason why you're struggling right now economically is because of Trump. The reason why things are terrible is because of Trump. The reason why you stubbed your toe is because of Trump. The reason why your girlfriend broke up with you is because of Trump. The reason why your car broke down is because of Trump. The reason why you fell down those stairs is because of Trump. And if we prosecute Trump, then everything's going to be fine in America. The debate is over. Stop asking questions, folks. We have freedom. Oh, wait, that's not going to solve everything. That's what all these Democrats rely on, prosecuting Trump. Mark my words, there's going to be so many Democrats and liberals and people in corporate media that will be happy that Trump gets reelected, because then, they can live the good old days all over again. That's right, because from 2016 to 2020, Donald Trump was the biggest job producer for the social justice warrior industrial complex.
That working class agenda, that agenda for poor people, that is really going to mobilize people to know how their life will change when Kamala.
And we have to be unburdened. Hold on. Popeye the Sailor says, we have to be unburdened by that has been and what will be and not no be. To be unburdened by that is to be free from the burden that's not there.
Harris is president of the United States.
So, Congressman, I just wanted to pick in a couple of those issues that we know that there was obviously a lot of hard work that the Progressive Caucus did with the president. One of the issues that there was a divide on.
What hard work? What did you guys get? Why are you gaslighting us? Why are you lying?
Was obviously Israel-Gaza. The Gaza conflict has been a source of consternation for many younger voters, and it kind of started to peel them away from him. Kamala Harris got a much better reception on college campuses around that issue. Her presentation seemed to be less divisive. We've now seen that she will not be sitting in the well of the House when the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gives his joint address, which she was invited to do. She will not be there. She will actually be in Indianapolis.
Why won't she be there? So you mean when Netanyahu speaks, there's going to be no one in the executive branch that's going to be there present? The president and vice. Last I checked, when a head of foreign state speaks or is going to be speaking before Congress, maybe the president should be there, vice president should be there. Perception drives reality. And you know what the perception is that the leadership isn't there, and that for one day, Netanyahu might as well be running the whole shindig. How funny will it be? How hilarious would it be if Netanyahu decides to stroll into the White House and actually sit behind the desk and no one's there to challenge him? And he just puts his feet up on the table, arms behind his back, smiling. And nobody will be there. Not the president, not the vice president. Hey, progressives, especially those in the Democratic Party. You guys are big brain thinkers, aren't you? You freaking jagoffs.
Presenting to the Zeta Phi Beta sorority incorporated. She'll be there doing that instead. She's going to meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu, as will the president, but she's not going to be there. That's a big kind of deal. I've heard from a lot of Palestinian Americans and some who are in an activist role who say they feel relieved that she will be the head of the ticket because it actually reopens the door for some of those voters who were turned away on that issue. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that's absolutely right. You know, I had an opportunity to speak with the vice president when she was in Seattle a couple of weeks ago about Israel-Gaza. We spent about 45 minutes talking about it. And I do think she has a deep empathy for the situation of Palestinian Americans. It's more natural to her.
Gee, Premier Jaya Paul, how come you guys in the Congressional Progressive Caucus aren't doing much to stop the crisis in Gaza? You know, I mean, you guys will show up at a protest. Remember you showed up at those university protests? And then, you know, you left, you took your photos. And then as soon as you left, suspiciously, out of the blue, police started really cracking down on all those protesters. Suspicious, don't you think?
I also think she's hearing from a lot of Black clergy. As you know, Joy, this is one of the top issues in the Black community is this war. And I think that there is some real resonance with the Palestinian people in a very different way. Obviously, she doesn't have Joe Biden's long history with Netanyahu. She was not on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, for all those decades, things that shaped him on that issue. And I think that she has shown time and time again that she is able to call for a ceasefire, for example.
Call for a ceasefire? Listen, I'm not going to put you guys through any more abuse. You're done listening to that. Kamala can't call for a ceasefire because she's not going to do it. Just like the Congressional Progressive Caucus isn't going to do anything to call for a ceasefire because they're not going to do it. Don't you all understand? It's all one big show, and we wasted time with these progressive lawmakers. I never again want to hear, Kit, we can reform the Democratic Party. Will you consider supporting the Justice Democrats or Brand New Congress or Our Revolution or DSA? To which I'll say, beg harder, cry harder. Get out of my front porch. I don't have time to listen to your BS. So many of these people that a lot of you, and I myself, wasted time and energy and money helping them out because they really put on a good con, thinking that they actually cared about the issues. They don't. They don't like you. They don't think about you. They don't respect you. And now they're going all in for Kamala to put her into office. Don't you all find it funny that the party that's screaming, we have to preserve democracy, is putting up their nominee now in the most undemocratic way as possible? Because you, the voter, don't count. It's the donors. And what do I always say? The donors will always supersede the voters.